direct response to numerous community complaints regarding this drug activity. So that is the intent. I want to say again, this program was never intended to target anyone from a specific group, race, or socioeconomic class. That being said, I want to be clear with my message. Programs like this are not within line with the values of the San Diego Police Department and something that I would ever allow. I've ordered an investigation into this matter with the purpose of finding out how this was communicated to our frontline officers without going through the approval process. Pending the outcome of that investigation, any appropriate corrective measures will be taken. And with that, I would like to open up to questions.
Chief, the first, you mentioned that this was never intended to go out. This was never implemented, but the emails that had gone out and the presentations that were given would indicate otherwise, being that on March 8th, a presentation was given. On March 9th, an email was sent out, and it wasn't until the 12th that it was stopped. So those 90 people or whatnot that received it would have been under the directive that this was being implemented.
Okay. Yes, you are correct. This email went out, to my knowledge, and still this investigation is very open right now. This email went out very early morning of March 9th. I became aware of it, or the chief's office became aware of it, on the 10th, and it was stopped. There was a second email forwarded, or an email forwarded from the commanding officer of that division that said this was put down. I have looked at the crime stats. I've looked at the arrests for narcotics in this area. There's not a spike. I can tell you right now, this program was never authorized, nor was it ever implemented.
What do you say to
and let me finish. Nor did anybody ever receive any rewards for making arrests. Okay? All these arrests were based on probable cause, again, focusing on community complaints regarding drug sales, transportation, and drug usage.
What do you say to the officers that believe that the program was implemented because there was a time period when they did receive that email and believe the email said that this is being instituted, indicating that it's good to go?
Okay. It went out at 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning on the 9th, okay? Most of the staff's not even working at that time. Okay, it was put down the following day. Most of these officers would have never gotten that email. But even with that being said, again, I'm going to stress very much so, this was never authorized. It did not go through the approval process, and when in fact it did, it was clearly put down by an assistant chief once he learned about this.
Chief, how did he learn about it? There were 90 officers who got the email, supposedly.
Okay.
Did you learn about it from the media, or did you learn about it from one of your officers, or from more than one officer who thought that maybe this was inappropriate?
I learned about it from staff. Okay, I believe the media probably found out about it first. So I thank you for that question. Okay, I want to talk to the officers for a second here. I appreciate this being brought to our attention. Okay, and the approval process worked. And here's why I say this, is because when it did get to the level of assistant chief, it was immediately put down. Okay. But here's what I want to say to the officers. If there is something out there that is causing you concern, and you go to a first-line supervisor or you go to somebody, and your concerns, in your opinion, are not handled correctly, I want to hear about it. I have an open-door policy. All of our assistant chiefs, some of which are in this room, have an open-door policy. It doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? I cannot fix what I don't know.
Did it upset you, or how do you feel about the fact that the public found out about it through the media, and that an officer came forward and told the media about this?
I'm not upset on the matter of which I found out about this. We have protocols. I wish the officer would have felt comfortable enough coming to somebody and doing this, but I'm glad it was brought forward so we can address it.
Chief, how many officers actually came forward to tell you that they, or somebody, to tell the assistant chief that this was inappropriate? Was it just one, or were there more than one? How many of the 90 officers, if you know, actually spoke up and said this is not okay?
This is what's going to be part of this investigation that we have ongoing right now. This is one of several things I want to find out, and that's why I've launched this investigation.
But it was more than one, it was through more than one officer that you were made aware of?
I was made aware by staff, by my staff.
I see. Well,
incentives or rewards that were promised?
Well, first I want to say one thing. There was never an incentive or reward given, okay? And that's what some of this investigation will determine. From what I saw, it gave a point total for making certain types of narcotic arrests. But again, this is very much in the infancy stage. I'm going to kind of press pause for a second because I don't know all the facts right now, okay? That's why we've launched this investigation. And we're going to go through this investigation as quick as we can, but making sure we're extremely thorough. And once that has been determined, we'll be able to get out more of those facts. But I don't want to jump the gun and give you something that might not be true. So I'm going to let this investigation run out, and then we'll find out exactly what happened, how this got to the frontline officers without it going through the approval process. And then I'll take the appropriate steps to make sure that this doesn't happen.
Chief, the email indicated that there are similar programs going on in other divisions throughout San Diego Police Department. What are they?
I don't know of any other programs like this unless they're talking about something like MAD. So officers, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, officers who make numerous DUI arrests are rewarded by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I was just at a breakfast this week on the Automobile Club awarding officers for recovering stolen vehicles. They might be speaking about that, but again, this is what this investigation is going to determine for us.
So you know of no other point system type things that are going on that would be directly related to something like this?
Let me make this very clear. The San Diego Police Department does not have a quota system. Whether you want to call it a game, trivializing, quota, whatever acronyms you want to use, we do not have a quota system. And it's not something that I will tolerate. I've been in this job for 2 weeks now. It's not something I'm going to tolerate.
What do you say to the people in that community? In a short time, they're going to be holding a news conference here, Bishop Cornelius Bowser. What do you say to him, or have you talked to him, or if you haven't, what do you say to him?
I've talked to a lot of people on this, and it's something that, I want to talk about intent. It goes back to the intent of this was focusing on community complaints regarding narcotic activity. But I understand this. And so you let this investigation run its course. Let me take the appropriate measures after I find out all the facts. But be mindful, and I want them to clearly understand, we're taking this serious. We've opened an investigation into this, and we're going to figure out what happened and why it happened.
Do you apologize to the community or to the pastor, the bishop?
Well, I got to find out exactly what happened first before I could offer any kind of apology. So I'm gonna press pause for a second and see exactly what happened. I don't think we have all the facts right now.
Who's leading the investigation?
It's one of our staff.
Is it internal affairs? Is it your office?
It's in the chief's office right now.
Chief,
Have there been any actions taken so far against the people behind the idea for this program?
Sir, that's part of the investigation. So, yeah, we have to let the investigation run its course.
You said this was the idea from a frontline supervisor, one person, correct?
That's what I know right now at this point.
Was the head of Southern also aware of this?
That's what this investigation, I'm hoping, will be able to determine. Again, folks, we're just getting into this investigation, and these investigations take time. We have to make sure that we're following all the rules of how we conduct investigations. It does take time. I wish we could speed this up, but I'm not going to speed something up to make it less thorough. I want to do a thorough investigation, and those take time.
Chief, do you know this?
One more question. How is this in contradiction with the values of the San Diego Police Department? What values does it go against?
It goes against how we value our relationship with our communities. When we take somebody into custody, it's not a game. It's because they've violated a law. There's probable cause to make an arrest. And so it goes against our community trust. It goes against our relationships. And it just does not meet our values.
I know that you're doing an investigation, but what kinds of punishments, if you will, could those involved be facing insofar as the intention was to incentivize people?
Roy, it's way too early to tell you what that is. I mean, that would be speculating at best of what those could be. And so I'm not willing to do that.
Any timeline?
Thank you.